Hello there, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up tonight on the show, tonight on Business Focus, private sector hails economic indicators but calls for targeted incentives and policy clarity following the 2026 mid-year budget review. Also, on the program, we ask, how can the Big Push agenda help bridge the country's infrastructure gap? Details of this and many others line up for you here on today's edition of Business Focus. But as always, this show is sponsored by Telecel as well as EcoBank. And every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency number. So here's one you'd always want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need for you to panic. When you find yourself in any money emergency, EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, a proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. We'll turn to the other side and bring you updates now from the currency market, the commodity front, as well as the treasury bill market. Now, on to the other side, and the dollar is selling for 11 cedis 63 pesos, buying rather for 11 cedis 63 pesos, sold to you 11 cedis 64 pesos. The pound will be sold to you at 15 cedis 49 pesos, the euro at 13 cedis 25 pesos. But we gather that these figures will be much higher at a Forex bureau near you. Let's bring you updates also from the commodity front. We know that cocoa is down by some $226. It's trading now $5,150 per ton. Gold also is up $21.47, trading at $4,074 per ounce. But on the other hand, crude oil is down by 7.93%. The one we all want to hear. It's now at $88.85 after crossing the $100 mark some few days ago last week. But thankfully, it's beginning to inch down a bit. We're hoping that it can go back to the 70 region so that prices at the pumps will drop. Because from where we sit already, there are hints that fuel prices could go up significantly in the next pricing window. We'll see how all of that fares. But now to the treasury market, the 91-day bill is going for 5.78%. 182-day bill is going for 7.868%. 364-day bill is going for 12.96%. But of course, this is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. My guests are seated and we'll have our conversation shortly. Please don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Before the timelines, before the algorithms, there was pure human craft. Ideas were drawn by hand, refined by instinct, and brought to life with grit. And on the award stages, Ghana's advertising creatives found their spotlight. Today, creativity moves at the speed of imagination. From concepts to campaigns, in moments, insight to impact instantly. A new generation of advertisers is rising, blending culture, technology, and creativity like never before. Join us as we celebrate the synergy of human creativity and artificial intelligence at the 2026 Gong Gong Awards, where code meets craft on the 22nd of August 2026. Venue, Omanyeho, Labadi Beach Hotel. Time is 6 p.m. From craft to code, Ghana creates the future.
Royal and our special series doors a bien biara. And your one washroom door free come. Set to DM interior doors a basa biara sa. And your washroom door free crocker. Brand bottle Royal series premium door crack. Ye benya DM interior door free cracker. Abu biara sa bottle hot. Obo fix am free. Then you door master that door. One door sa. Are you strong and durable pumping? And you shidumpa on fedo. One more 5 to 30 years warranty ka home. Plus free 1 year insurance. Bamba amawufie muni nyina. Ya door master bottle door say. Na chede kese promo no record do. Ya door master Teba community 25. Chado. Amrahia. ACP kwabenya. Kaswa. Kobi mine. Ashala jobe ye. So fianko. Nsawo masafueji. And overhead. Kumasi door master wa hinsan. Na krono. Anyen nkasa. 0548 402-640 Ana 050-589-2268. Achede kasi promotional record. Wado must.
Emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it, but many Ghanaians don't know the emergency numbers. Well, here's one you'd always want to remember, *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency, because EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank and proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Now to our substantive topic for today. We are basically picking the thoughts of industry players and the likes on the mid-year budget review after it was delivered last week, Thursday, by the finance minister. Some about two hours or so of quite extensive delivery where he spoke first of all emphatically that there were no supplementary budgets or requests to be put before the parliament. But then I have my guest in studio now, Professor Isaac Boadi, the Dean of the Accounting and Finance Department at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Also in studio is President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, Mr. Clement Boateng. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you too for coming. I'll start with you, Mr. Boateng. How does GUTA feel about this media budget presentation?
Yeah, good evening once more to your cherished viewers, and thank you for having me. Yes, like we all know, media budget we don't expect any major, policy. It's just about telling the people of Ghana what they have done for the first, 6 months, and then what government also intend doing in the next six months. So basically, you don't expect, government to make pronouncements on any major, policy. But then, as business people, who matter as far as the economy is concerned, definitely we will have some expectations that we think the minister should, make some pronouncement on those expectations.
Oh, what were those?
Yes. So one, we were expecting the minister to, make pronouncement on the women's banking because there has been, so many talks about the women's banking, but we didn't know how its operation is going, to start.
Yeah.
So it's one area that we were expecting, the minister to make some pronouncement on it. And rightly, he hit the nail right on the head. He said before the end of the year, the women's banking will come into operation because we need the women's banking for our women. Because like we all know, when it comes to trading, women forms a very greater part as far as trading is concerned. And they need soft loans, even though one will say, why don't they go to the normal commercial banks? We are aware that lending rates are, coming down a bit, but we know for a fact that when this women's bank comes into operation, definitely its lending rates will be, more moderate than the normal commercial bank. So we are looking forward for the operationalization of this women's bank. So we are glad that the minister finally made mention that by the end of the year, it will be operationalized. So that is one aspect that our expectation was on it. Then we come to the second one, which had to do with the 24-hour economy. GUTA, as an institution, has had some engagement with the Secretariat of 24-Hour Economy, and we have sent some proposal for the Secretariat to, help some of our members who would like to, migrate from doing the buying and selling into manufacturing, because that is the ultimate goal of any trader. We don't want to remain in the buying and selling in perpetuity. We want to, migrate into the manufacturing sector because that is what government, wants, industrialization agenda. So, submitting the proposals, we have not, received any, I would say, good, response because we need some funding as far as, putting up factories is concerned. So we were expecting the minister to make pronouncement of the kind of support that they will, give to GUTA in order to be able to set up some one or two, factories to go into production. We didn't hear anything on that aspect. Then the next thing, has to do with the duty regime that is currently pertaining in our country. We think the duty regime needs to be overhauled. And when we had opportunity to meet His Excellency, the then President, during the run-up to the 2024 election, we presented a BOE, that's the Bill of Entry. Bill of Entry is where, the various levies and taxes, are, mentioned on that paper, and it amounts to about 22, items, levies and taxes that you have to pay before you can get your goods out. We show it to His Excellency, and he exclaimed that, is this what people are content with? We said yes. And so, okay, then if I come, by God's grace, if I assume the presidency, I will see what I will do about it. And he used the term, rationalize. He said he will rationalize the duty regime.
And that's candidate Mahama.
Yes.
Okay, fair point.
So government comes into power, and then we approach the finance ministry, demanding from them the rationalization of the duty that they promise us. They made us understand that there are some revenue leakages at the port, and so therefore government also needs revenue. So they are, coming out with something which they think will maximize government revenue, and so after that, then they will see to the rationalization of the duty, and that culminated in the implementation of the Publican AI,
which you had some issues with, but I think that has been addressed now.
Oh,
right?
it has been addressed. But our point is, once the Publican AI is implemented.
You know what? Let's hold on with the public on
Okay.
here, because I can see that you have a lot to say. But at least you had quite a number of expectations. But from what you've said, you mentioned 3.
Yeah.
I think out of the 3, you got 2.
No, we got 1.
You got 1.
Yes.
You got
it's only the Women's Bank. Yes.
But the duty one, yeah.
No, we haven't.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sure it will get better. Prof, thank you so much for sticking in there too. Talk to us. What's your assessment of this mid-year budget review? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, good evening to yourself and my good friend, your viewers as well. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, bro. The budget was finally read. I must be honest that the framers of our constitution were not wrong to set a mid-year review, because funds that are often availed to the minister need to be accounted for, and we don't need to wait to the end of the year. So middle of the year, he's called to come and give account of his stewardship. Basically to tell us how much have been given and the work done so far, your revenue, your expenditure, and your initiatives. You give us a picture of where we find ourselves. So that was really what the minister did on that day. And just as my good friend said, we all had expectations. Whether they were met, we know ourselves. But in terms of assessment, just as you claim, we are from academia and we do assessment all the time. We don't look for negatives only. We look out for positives, and then we then give our conclusion. That's what we do. So it's fair. We give credit, and we also need to talk about where it went wrong. And I think we'll be fair with assessment. In terms of the various macroeconomic fronts or indicators, the minister highlighted various improvements that we have seen in that space. He talked about inflation dropping to 5.3, 5.4. Exchange rate dropped. Reserves improved. GDP reduced. These were the highlights, and I knew this because we had done an assessment of 1-year administration of this NDC 2025. So we knew what the scorecards were going to be. So we're not wrong. But having looked at all this, people have had their issues, how these numbers have been arrived at. And the platform will not give us the opportunity to go deep to find out our issues with all this. But we have given credit to the administration because it's happened under their watch. If it had gone bad, we'll say the same thing. So once it's gone right, we have to give them the credit. But then let's change the emphasis by looking out for the various issues that we also flagged in the same report. Although various improvements were mentioned, but the minister failed to tell us the figures behind these improvements.
Which figures are you referring to in this case?
I mean, talking about the various indicators and initiatives. When you give us a picture, it must be a full picture. We don't always look at, the numbers will look good, but then between the economic data and that of our lived realities or experiences, that gap has not been closed. And we still struggle to close the gap. And if you look at the entire document, sometimes you don't take your time to break it down. People don't get time to read. They see the highlights. They don't go into the actual issues. In the same document, the minister claimed that the nation inherited, this administration inherited inflation of over 50%. It's not true. It was 23%. So we should check that document well. We also realized in the same document, major flagship programs were discounted, were ignored, were not mentioned. Talk about the big push. Talk about 24-hour economy. Talk about...
I think the big push was mentioned. He spoke about some of the projects under it.
I'm talking about the Nkokon Kete and then the 24-hour economy.
So you're saying in the whole, it wasn't mentioned at all?
The major flagship, talking about the two, let me be specific.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we can push that one aside. So if you go back into these matters, Mike, you realize that we have invested huge sums of money. Capital outlay for 24-hour economy stood at 110 million Ghana cedis invested before the year. Then we have the Nkokon Kete, which is about 249 million invested as well. So any time that you want to give an account where we are, it's proper that you give us a fair assessment of where we've got into. Because there were key indicators that were given.
Yeah.
They were given in terms of how the food sufficiency ratio must get to. In terms of employment, how many of these initiatives have been able to churn out a lot of employment in the system? We had issues with that. Then there was something on our GDP, which the minister talked about, that has gone down.
Yeah.
We are happy. But then it would have been fair to give us why we find ourselves at this stage. Why the drop from 61 all the way to 45? When you are celebrating, if care is not taken, you will think that you have a space to borrow more. If it drops to 45, you think that the threshold might be 60 or so, so you go up. But that's not the reality, because your economy has been rebased. So it subsumes whatever the denominator will be. So you don't have that space. There was another issue in terms of 1 billion, which was approved, the budget. Why wasn't it factored into the presentation? It was quiet. 1 billion.
Which line item is that?
Oh, there was 1 billion approved, presented by Parliament.
Okay.
That was ignored. So we're saying that these issues should have been captured to be fair with your assessment. Free SHS, we have a line that must support the free SHS. Is it ABFA?
ABFA.
What is happening? We are now sourcing funding from World Bank to push that agenda. So it cannot be a free thing anymore. It will be under a repayment plan over time. We are told that the government will save an amount of money. I don't know if it chanced on the document. Revenue, we have been able to save 4.15 billion because the Treasury bill rates, we had a good rate. So instead of spending about 200, I forgot the exact figure, but the bottom line is that we saved, which was made, that claim, made by the minister. There's a difference between a budget variance and a fiscal savings, which Parliament must demand explanation between the two. If you want to spend 2 cedis and you end up not spending 2 cedis, you have not saved. It's just a gap. What did you invest that money in that you can call this a savings?
But if there was a budgetary allocation and then you have not spent it, it's still a savings.
It's the variance, it's a change.
Yeah, but it's
when you put it into investment vehicle that you can say you saved. So that claim should be watched. You can't say, just check.
I'm testing it by the finance you taught me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the explanation about investing it, because if I didn't spend it, It's safe. And if there was allocation for it, that's a saving.
So did he tell us he had allocated that money?
But you just said here that they had planned to spend, so it means that it was factored in the budget.
No, it was not factored because it didn't come with a revised budget. He only told us we have saved. We have made savings. That was a claim. And I'm from where I sit. If you have reinvested that money or saved, put into something that generated, or last year, the same quarter, you didn't spend that money, or you spent more than that, then we can say yes. But you have reduced your spending. That's that. That's the budget variance. Now let's come back to that issue on the expenditure cut.
A lot of issues on
Well,
but that's nice. I'm enjoying the submission.
The budget cuts.
Okay.
You have reduced your expenditure line. It cannot be what is called a fiscal discipline.
Now, what is it called?
If your revenues are not performing, what is a prudent thing you must do?
Cut expenditure.
You cut it, sir. So is there a prudent one?
Is that the case?
We've had issues in terms of people claiming the fiscal discipline, prudent management of the economy and all that. We put these terms together. When you're able to take care of your revenue outlines, improve your revenues, reduces your expenditure pattern and containing your debt portfolio. That's what yes, it's a fiscal discipline.
But you see, this is a finance minister who has said that some $1.something billion has been deposited in an account waiting to be spent on the Kumasi Express Highway and the likes, and a lot of other allocations that have been made. So the money is there. So it's not as if there's no money to spend, so to speak, based on the point that you were making. But then let me just bring in Guta again into this particular issue. This was a budget that said that this was a budget that says that it was focusing basically on growth. Do you feel that growth from where we are now?
Yes, I think so. Because, largely the growth that we are enjoying is coming from the services, sector. And it is the services sector, that is performing. Because if we want to talk about agric and manufacturing, they are not, doing so much well. So the growth that we are enjoying is attributed to the service sector, because the service sector is doing good as a result of the positive macroeconomic indicators that we are enjoying. Yes, so that is what I would say about that.
Okay, so Prof, what about you? The growth part, we know there's been a lot of talk about fiscal prudence, fiscal discipline, but now to the other side of growth, what do you think really is the drawback for that growth that we want to see, especially when this budget is designed to deliver that?
Yeah, let's backtrack a bit and talk about this growth before we even react to that.
Okay.
It is just like, I was happy in the budget for the first, I didn't hear stabilization. We've stabilized already.
Yeah.
So my expectation were to talk about growth. It is just like you being a doctor and the patient is rushed to the hospital with fever. As a good doctor, will you tell the person to run? You will not tell the person to run. A good doctor will ensure that the infections will stop before you are allowed. The stoppage of that infection is a reduction in the interest rate, which we are seeing now. Inflation, reserves, all these indicators are to help you stabilize. So you have stabilized.
Yeah.
The growth is when the economy is able to create more jobs, increase production, raising incomes, the gap between the inequalities. That is the only time we can say there's a growth in your economy. And back to your question, what are the things holding us back? Myriad of things. When you know your problem, you've done 2/10 of your battle. So when you know the problem, you only turn the problems, and they'll become the solution. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel again. We live in an economy that the sector that often will give you the best input or your GDP not working. That's where we find ourselves.
So anytime that sector is crippled, in 2025, remember, we're promised of a cashew factory. We're promised of a tomato factory. Your own flagship program, which for me, I support that policy 100%, the 133.
Yeah.
They're all struggling. How do you grow the economy? How would the youth in the street get job to do? That's the bottom line. If we're able to sustain this, and for me, Mike, if this administration want to do anything for this country, they must implement that 24-hour economy in this bullshit. They don't have any option. They must implement.
Okay. That sounded like a threat, but anyway, I'm sure it's a passionate appeal. But you're still watching Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Just come past with some tidbits from EcoBank to help you prepare for retirement. But every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you'd always want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank Money Emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. We have also joining us via Zoom Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse. He's the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineers. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We've had a lot of talk about the big push agenda and then also the update from the finance minister on it. For you as engineers, what do you make of this, and what's your assessment of the mid-year budget presentation on that sector?
Yeah. Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, as the Ghana Institute of Engineering, we've been watching the infrastructure space for some time. As we know, just about a couple of weeks ago, we launched what we call the Infrastructure Report Card. We try to assess how well we are doing in infrastructure in this country. And we had an overall score out of 8 infrastructure areas of a D3, which shows that we are at best in a fair condition going into poor. D3 goes to E1, which is a poor condition. And some of 3 out of the 8 areas that we investigated showed the E1, which shows that they were in poor condition. This included road, health infrastructure, and railway infrastructure. Education and potable water were showing D3, that means they were just out of poor. And D1, electricity and telecommunication, and C3, which shows a good condition, is aviation. So this is a general assessment that we have. And the shortcomings that we identified for the infrastructure sector, the major one was investment, lack of investment in the infrastructure. The second most important problem that we found out was maintenance, asset preservation. These are the 2 biggest shortcomings of the sector. So when you are assessing the budget of government, you are looking at these things, whether adequate investment is being made, and whether some of the investment is being channeled towards maintenance of the infrastructure. It's a mixed feeling. If you look at the power sector, you see quite a number of investments which appear to be pushing us in the right direction. For instance, the increase in gas supply, power supply relationship is expected to reduce the cost of power generation by 75%. This is very significant. And if this will come and reflect in the tariff that we pay, then that means industries and households will be paying less for electricity. And for industries, this will be a recipe for increase in productions and also chance to be able to be successful in the market. In the same way, the 1,200 megawatts of state-owned power plant that is being done by VRA is also expected to reduce tariffs by 10 to 20%. These are good things if we're able to achieve these results. So that sounds good, and especially if we are talking about industrialization, where power is very important. And it's quite also pleasant to see that the power sector, electricity sector, in our infrastructure scorecard in 2016 compared to this, they improved slightly from D2 to D1. And it's mainly attributed to more investment into maintenance of their systems and things like that. And the investment that has been going into the power sector. So this improvement shows that there's something good happening in the power sector, and we should be continue to be doing so. When it comes to the road sector, where the big push is making a lot of investment into the road sector. And from the reading, already 87 projects have been awarded in this light. And we know that a total of $10 billion was being committed to this program. It's a huge program if you compare it to the normal budget of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, which is in the area of 8 billion Ghana cedis. And you are talking about a program for 2 or 3 years, which is in the area of 100 billion Ghana cedis. Then you see the extent of investment that government is putting in. Now, our expectation is that this investment should be done well and be done right. Because apart from power, transport cost is the next thing that affects production and cost of living. So we believe that these things should be done, and you know that we as an institution have had to question the processes that were followed in designing and awarding these projects.
Yeah.
And we have had a situation in which we've written to the Auditor General to look at the processes. We think this is important because it's not only good to do things, but it's good to do it well and to do it right. That gives us assurance of transparency, gives us assurance that we are having value for money and cost effectiveness.
Interesting.
As it is now, the way these projects were awarded, we are not able to beat our chest to say that we achieved these purposes. It's also good to hear, anyway, that these projects are progressing steadily, and there's money put aside which will ensure that this will be paid for and that these projects will be completed. When they are completed, then it will be a very big achievement.
All right. Thank you so much, India, for those submissions. I'll come back to you, Prof, on the issue of growth. We know one of the major concerns of this particular government now is the exposure to external risks. And one that has become an albatross on a number of countries' necks is the issue of the Middle East tensions. For you as an economist, what's your advice then in juggling this very delicate situation where you risk crippling if you go a bit too fast in your quest for growth because of the risk element?
That's a very difficult question. Why? Take it again.
Prof.
Yeah, very intelligent.
No.
Why?
So, Prof, in summary, will you risk growing and losing the gains you've made because of external shocks, which are staring at us in the face, including the issue of rising cost of fuel? How do you balance the two?
Well, the risk is not only in that area. We have equal domestic risk as well as external risk. One of the things you mentioned has been to be the oil.
Yeah.
Yes. You realize that for the past 1 month or 2 months, all the gains recorded have suddenly taken an upturn. Exchange rate is back.
Marginally back.
Marginally. Inflation from 3.2 to now 5 points.
Which is expected.
So we should be careful where we are. Now add external issues. Of course, we are not an island. External issues obviously will affect any economy. That's what happened in COVID time. We are likely to be affected by all this.
Yeah.
Now we cannot only isolate oil as part of. Talk about gold. Talk about price of cocoa. So when you have economy that is solely or mainly driven by external influences, then we all have a problem. So Africa or Ghana, we have.
Yeah.
Until we learn to do things on our own, ensuring that we create an enable environment for businesses to thrive, increasing production in an economy, we always go back to zero. When we have these externalities,
affecting us. So it's only oil, gold prices, price of cocoa.
Yeah.
These are other things that will fall or happen, and when we don't take care. So we have forgotten about domestic one. Energy. They're all parts.
Fair point. So in your estimation, there will always be risk.
No, but we can mitigate.
We can mitigate it. Being the finance minister must be a tough job because you're expected to grow and still be cautious at the same time. I wonder how he pulls that off. But then, I almost called you Doc. Maybe you should get a PhD. But then, Mr. Boateng, so we know that fuel prices are expected to go up very soon again because of what's happening in the Middle East. Generally, situating that in how far we've come as an economy, are you worried or you think that things will take care of themselves?
I should be worried because we all know the issue of fuel cost. Once the cost goes up, it affects price of goods and services.
Yeah.
And if you listen to some of the reasons given by the Monetary Policy Committee in maintaining the policy rate at still 14%, they assign some of the reasons, to the risk in the Middle East, because they don't want, a situation whereby maybe the policy rate will goes up and then price of fuel will also goes up. Then it will definitely affect inflation. And as we all know, policy rate is also used to, micromanage the inflation.
You said you were worried. Now I'm also worried because you just said that when fuel price goes up, cost of goods and please, the viewers are watching here. Should they be expecting prices to go up anytime soon? Please, we are here now.
No.
Thank you. That's reassuring enough. Thank you so much. That was President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Clement Boateng, speaking to us. There also we had Professor Isaac Boedi, Dean of the University of Professional Studies Accra's Accounting and Finance Department. We also had joining us virtually Engineer Ludwig Anand Hesse, President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Thank you all, gentlemen, for your time. That'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus. For more stories, please check out our website, historynews.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. We'll catch you same time next week. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe.
Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel, ABSA,